Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, that is called Tar Heel Illustrated. We're also Tar Heel Illustrated on Facebook. And, of course, on Twitter. A lot of you find us there. That's at Heel Illustrated. But if you're catching us on Twitter, just go over to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Very simple. Type it in. Go ahead and pin it. So you're always know to find us very quickly. And for just $8.33 a month, guys, not only can you be an insider for UNC athletics, and that includes recruiting, but you could be a member of our growing community. It's an amazing community, respectful discourse. Every once in a while, some people get into it, which can be entertaining, but it's a tremendously knowledgeable, fun community. It's a community that during the COVID time, a lot of people said was great. They loved it so much. In fact, we grew during COVID because it was it was a place to escape, a place to go, hang out, escape, talk with like-minded people who share a common love and interest. And they hit on a lot of stuff, not just Tar Heels, lots of ACC stuff as well. So I really want to push our community because it's a fantastic place with a lot of very knowledgeable people and some people with connections and inside information as well. So make sure for just $8.33 a month, you become a member of our community too. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones. She is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And Deana, that's the longest pitch for our site I think I've ever made, but that's okay because this is an exciting podcast. Jordan Shipp, a four-star wide receiver from Providence Day in Charlotte, has committed to play football at North Carolina. The wide receiver train is picking up steam, Miss King. 6'2", 180 pounds, number 41 nationally at his position, number 5 overall in the state of North Carolina. So dive in, Miss King. Tell us, Deana, what is there to like about Jordan Shipp and why did he pick the Tar Heels over Michigan and a few other schools that I'll name in a couple of minutes?
I think based on what has happened in this class, I think this could be the biggest one so far because, like you mentioned, Tar Heels won out over Michigan. Most analysts thought he was Michigan bound, basically because he has a couple teammates, Jaden Davis and Shannon Goodwin, who have already committed to Michigan. So, you know, a lot of people think just, his friends are up there, great football program, one of the all-time great programs, How's he going to turn Michigan down and end up at North Carolina? It's just, some simple things, in talking to Jordan, and I've covered Jordan for 3 years now. He plays for Providence Day, who has the most college prospects in the program. They're turning out Power 5 kids galore here lately under Coach Chad Greer and have been very dynamic on offense. And so he had a great year last year helping the Chargers win a independent schools state championship. But every time I talked to Jordan Shipp, there were like two common themes that he always talked about, and it was kind of repetitious when I talked to wide receivers, is his relationship with Coach Lonnie Galloway. I've hit on it several times. Galloway is just like a mentor, a fatherly figure, a big brother figure that these kids can relate to. He's Coach Galloway. I don't know how to explain him. I mean, he really relates well to kids, and I think one of the reasons is he was in their shoes. I mean, he was a standout up in Rockingham County, a star athlete, and he went on and played college football. So he can relate to what some of these kids are going through the recruiting process and making decisions. And I think, and he's a really great wide receiver coach as well. Yeah. And then just the overall feel at North Carolina from the academics, athletics, and social life. he was one thing that really made me think, well, North Carolina is probably going to be the pick is he took his official visit to Carolina on the June 24th and left a couple hours and then came back because that officially ended his official visit. North Carolina had their Showtime camp. He came back about 2 hours later and spent that whole camp. He didn't have to do that. He could have just went back to Charlotte, but he stayed. And you were I believe was it Baltimore or North or Washington?
No,
He was on your trip,
DC, but I was in DC. That was the day of the concert.
That was a very hot day, and so he spent a hot evening in Chapel Hill watching a camp that he wasn't even involved in, but him and a few more recruits stayed around and hung out with Coach Galloway. Took some pictures of him hanging out with and joking with Coach Brown. And he spoke to me afterwards saying, the quote he said that he said at North Carolina he had a lot of friends here, and a lot of people just like to come to go there. And that quote stuck to me because these kids they look at the total picture. What if something happened and football's not going really well? Could he still enjoy himself at that school? And I think that's one of the reasons that Jordan picked Carolina is because the total, everything about North Carolina, it's close. I mean, 2 hours maybe from Charlotte. That if he had to go home, his parents can come watch him play. His family and friends could come watch him play, and he's playing for the state university and everything. So I think the relationships and just what Carolina has to offer really made an impression on him.
This is a full package commitment, but I really am with you on the Lonnie Galloway element here. He's put 4 guys in the NFL in the last 3 years at his position. And Galloway is someone who is, when Jacob and Kevin record their pregame videos and they're out on the field during the warmups and they're walking right next to the player, you're not going to hear Lonnie Galloway very often. But he is someone who, when he speaks, there's something authoritative, there's something genuine that he's going to say. And I think that's the relationship we're hearing more and more from kids, not just in the recruiting process, but Deana after they play for him. And they just talk about the genuine nature. He's very honest with them, but he doesn't demean. He could criticize without demeaning. He's uplifting, but not in a rah-rah kind of way. It's a very he has a way of communicating to kids where it really seeps in and they absolutely connect to what he's saying. And that's an important element here. That's one of the reasons why there's so many people in that building that have tremendous respect for Lonnie, not just as a coach, but as a person. And we're seeing that. And we may still see more of that here in the next few weeks with other wide receivers that could commit. So this is a full picture deal. And I think the Lonnie Galloway thing may have been the final little factor that he could get a lot of those other things at Michigan. And he could wear that maize and blue and that amazing helmet. But maybe Lonnie Galloway's not at Michigan and he is in Chapel Hill. Very quickly, he also looked hard at NC State. He was offered by Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Wisconsin, West Virginia, Missouri, which tries to recruit this area a lot because there are connections with the coaching staff. So I think this is a really good pickup for Carolina. They got a guy that could have played at one of the great all-time programs in an amazing facility that I have seen in person. It is incredible. But he chose Kenan Stadium. He chose the Kenan Football Center. He chose Lonnie Galloway and Chip Lindsey and Mack Brown. And I think that this is a really big pickup for the reasons you stated, Deana.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he's 6'2". He's big. He makes big plays. If y'all are in Charlotte this year, you need to go watch him play. I mean, kid can just he's just special and everything. So, but he gets it. I mean, his dad was a really good wide receiver in Charlotte as well, Steve, who went and played at Florida. So he's got talent, and like you said, it's one of these kids. It's the second wide receiver commit in this class. It enhances the room majorly. The rankings for Carolina should go up a little bit because he is a 4-star. We've talked about that. So it's looking like this class could end up, after all the Debbie Downers, talking about how, maybe Coach Brown might have lost his touch on the recruiting trail. He's really closing strong.
Whenever I hear the term Debbie Downer, I think of our former photographer, Bruce Young. He used that a lot. Andrew, don't be a Debbie Downer. So, no one's a Debbie Downer about Jordan Shipp. This is a big-time pickup for the Tar Heels, 4-star wide receiver. Providence Day from Charlotte, 6'2", 180 pounds, number 41 nationally at his position, number 5 in the state of North Carolina. She's Deana King. I'm AJ. Remember, 833, guys. You're not just an insider, but you're a part of an amazing community. Thanks for stopping by.